Self-improvement, but 10 times faster. Now, it's only right that I try and go through this video as fast as I possibly can, seeing as though the topic is how can we improve as fast as we can. But there's there's something I want to say first, which is this is not about cheating the process. This is not about shortcuts. One of the most underrated, because it's not spoken about in self-improvement content much, people just talk about like routines and what to do. When you assess from a wider lens, one of the most valuable things in self-improvement, which is happening indirectly and it's not always the focus point, is how long the process takes. The fact that there is a wait and you can't get it overnight. It teaches you patience. It teaches you to be consistent. It teaches you to remain disciplined, and it tests your faith. Your ability to keep going and keep working even when you're not really seeing the results that you thought you'd get yet. Trust in the process. However, most people are making this process so much longer than it needs to be. I fully understand the wait's important, but I also know that you can just make it fucking faster. This won't be telling you to work harder. This won't be telling you that you've got to put an extra fucking 12 hours in a week and into self-improvement and all this stuff. It's tightening up what you're already doing. You're a fool to not apply what I'm going to talk about in this video, genuinely, because you're not having to do anything extra. You just need to tighten up what you're already doing. Lazy people aren't watching self-improvement videos. So I know where you're at right now. I've got 2 things to share with you at the end of this video that you can go away and apply. And if you apply them, I can guarantee the rate at which you progress over the next 3, 6, 9, 12 months is going to be 10 times fucking quicker. And I know that's a big claim. By the time we get to like maybe halfway through this video, you'll already be agreeing with that statement. Okay? Let's get into it. What's the point of self-improvement? Become better. How do we actually do that? We upgrade behaviors, habits, thoughts. Essentially upgrade the way we act. We embody that upgraded behavior every single day until we change, until we become that version that we want to be. The only lever that we have for speed at which this can take place is the consistency at which we embody the characteristics on a daily basis. That's it. That's the only metric, the only variable that we can control is the consistency of us following, that's a terrible line, of us following the upgraded behaviors, habits, and thoughts. Here's a very simple example of how you can just see what I'm talking about here, because this is very important. Fat loss. Let's say we've got a guy that's fat and he wants to be shredded. Yes, you can get into the nitty gritty of exactly what training split he needs to do and how he needs to set up his macros and all this stuff. But if you look at it very plainly and simply, and you almost fucking retard max this whole concept, what is he doing to get shredded? He's embodying the behaviors, habits, thoughts, traits, characteristics of somebody who isn't fat. He's not eating junk food, he's moving more, he's eating less. And if he does that long enough, he will eventually be shredded. The only lever that he has to manipulate how fast that process can take place is consistency. And if he's consistent with those behaviors, he will be shredded in the fastest possible time. Not saying it happens overnight. I'm saying he's going to be shredded in the fastest possible time. But if he's inconsistent, if he's not following his nutrition guidance, or he only does it 3 days a week and he's missing a gym session once a week and he's not hitting his step goal, he's slowing that process up, or he will just never achieve it. Right? But there's another thing that's happening for that guy. Specific behaviors, habits, and thoughts. So if he goes to a coach, that coach is going to give him the exact training plan, the exact meal plan or nutrition guidance, macros, the exact expenditure plan. He's going to tell him what to do with his habits, and he's going to basically install some more positive belief in him, right? He's going to give him all of this stuff, specific alignment to somebody who is less flat. And if he follows it for long enough, he's going to become it. What he can't do is generic behaviors, habits, and thoughts. And this is where the problem lies, guys, right? Self-improvement is only slow for some people because they haven't been specific with what it is that they're trying to achieve. Now, I'm not trying to clown anyone here. If this is you, don't feel guilty, don't feel shame, don't feel like an idiot. If you're trying to improve yourself and you're watching this video, you're hitting the gym or you're reading or whatever you're doing to try and improve, but this is you, it's been generic up until now, good on you for fucking doing that. That's the first step. That's where I started, right? I'm not trying to make you feel like an idiot, but you've got to tighten up what I'm talking about in this video. So, the real problem, how do we get the fastest results? Again, just hammering this point home so you understand, guys. Effort, which you're already putting in. You guys aren't lazy. You wouldn't be watching this video if you're a lazy person. Consistency, which we know from this, yeah, for the fastest possible results. But also, and this is crucial, specific alignment. Not generic, specific. And this is the problem for most lads. They've never defined what they're actually trying to get out of self-improvement. Fitness is one massive part of self-improvement, guys, but it's not everything, right? It's how we develop socially. It's how we develop in relationships, as a person, in our career, how we see the world. Fitness is a huge part of it, but it's not everything. And that's kind of where guys are kind of letting the ball drop almost, because they know what they want from a fitness lens. They're still probably not aligned to the specifics if they don't have any knowledge of how to set up training. But it's like the wider picture. Who do you want to become? And if you haven't defined that, you will miss. It's just how it works. Now, the perfect example of this, for anyone who's either a retard or living under a rock, this is a high jump. And there was a study done on college athletes in America. It was quite a long time ago now, because I heard about it in college, which was like fucking 2016. We did it in PE, the PEA level. They measured the high jumpers' highest jumps with the bar. Then they removed the bar and set up sensors. So there was no visual aid. There was nothing they were trying to jump over. And they recorded their highest jumps. And I think the average drop in performance was like 30%. Because they didn't have a visual aid to aim for. They didn't have something that they were working towards. So it's literally impossible for the brain to do what it needs to do to achieve what it wants to achieve. And that is what the problem is. So why does this happen? It's one of two things. Now, I talked about this earlier. You've either never set the standard itself. You've never thought about what you're trying to achieve and who you need to be. So therefore, you can't generate what the standard is, or you have no insight into what the standard needs to be. Or you are aware, but the standard has slipped. Now, either way, it boils down to the same thing. A lack of awareness. The standard needs to be front of mind. It can't be front of mind if you don't know what it is. But if you know what it is and the standard's dropped, then we need a process to bring it back to the forefront of the mind. It needs to be a focal point in your day. Now, the good news, you're not a lazy fuck, which is fantastic. Because this isn't about working harder. This is about tightening up what you're already doing. Because right now, you're generically aligned. And again, good on you. If you're hitting the gym, if you're taking time out of your day to watch my videos, I appreciate you. I genuinely appreciate you. And I hope you get a lot of value from my videos. And I hope I can make many more videos and give you infinite amounts of value. Good on you. But you've got to tighten up. Right? There's no point in you putting all this effort in to not get the best result possible in the fastest possible way. Right now, you're firing from the hip with a shotgun. 50% of the time you might hit, but there's a lot of pellets that are going wayward. We want you operating with a sniper rifle and a scope. We want you bang on the fucking money. Specifically aligned. The consistency is already there. The effort is already there. This is the part now, right? We can't have this. We must have this specific alignment. How do we do that? The first thing that we need to do in order to specifically align, right? In order to have the exact set of standards, behaviors, habits, thoughts, characteristics, traits, is to know what we're actually fucking working towards. If we don't know what we're working towards, if we don't know who we're trying to become, we can't work backwards and then think about the standards. Now, I say this in my content all the time. I say it on Instagram, said it in many other YouTube videos. Who before what? You probably know what you want. But many people don't think about who they need to be to get it. That is what this game of life, or how this game of life works. Everything you want requires a certain version of you. Let's go back to the fat guy. What does he want? He wants to be shredded. Okay. Who does he need to be? He needs to be a guy that doesn't eat junk food. He needs to be a guy that moves more. He needs to be a guy that doesn't have fucking Domino's 5 times a week. He needs to be a guy who's doing 10,000 steps a day. And then the process becomes very, very clear, right? It becomes very evident. Now, the other thing that you can then do with this is you expose the gap, meaning you have the end traits behaviors, and then you can compare it to how you're currently operating, and you can see the difference, and it just becomes rational and logical why you're not that guy yet. And the way we do this, guys, which is the even better news, I've already built this out for you. Now, I'm hoping this video is clear enough where you don't actually need this, because you don't need this. I was doing this before AI even came about. I went through this whole process before ChatGPT was even a fucking thing. So you don't need this, but it just makes it fucking easier. This is something that I give to my clients. The identity generation AI prompt. And it basically is a do-it-yourself worksheet jumping into 3 different areas. We've got fitness and training, work, purpose, and finance, lifestyle, and relationships. It's not mega long, but it's detailed enough. And just to give you an idea, right? Current physical condition. Where are we right now? In terms of physique, performance, consistency. Desired physique, performance, and fitness level. Now, there's a few other for obviously fitness and training, but we jump into all of these. So basically, it's where are you right now? Where do you want to be? Where are you right now? Where do you want to be? And from that, including the AI prompt at the bottom of the worksheet, we can plug it into AI. And it's basically, you've got to take it with a pinch of salt, guys. I use AI all the time. I use Claude. I use ChatGPT a lot. I use Claude now. Claude's fucking miles better. But I use them fucking all the time. And they give some weird fucking answers. So you don't take this as gospel, but it's pointing you in the right direction. The prompt is very, very in-depth. So it kind of, I've changed it a lot over the last few months as I've introduced this into the coaching system. And it's spitting out way better answers now. But it's a 7-stage prompt that will give you, in the answer, full clarity on your specific personal standard. So we're moving away from the generic and we're moving towards specific, which is exactly what you need right now, guys. And if you want that, there's going to be a link in the link in the bio. That's wrong. Link in description of this YouTube video, and it will already have in it preloaded the words self-improvement directly to me. And if you send me that, guys, I will ping you this document over and you can go away and do it. But then what you can do from that, and this is the most important part, is embody it daily. Because what's the issue? I don't know how you fucking work this. It's the first time I've ever used. Oh, there we go. First time I've used these Miro boards. I like it though. It's good. I'm going to make more of these. The issue, guys, whether you've never set the standard before or the standard has slipped, is lack of awareness. It needs to be front of mind. Whichever one of these you are, this is the problem. So once we have it, okay, with this, the most important part really is to embody it daily. And you've heard me talk about this. Anyone that follows me on Instagram, you see me doing this every single fucking day. People probably get very bored of it. Alignment and reflection. My list of standards, behaviors, habits, thoughts, traits, characteristics, ways of thinking, how I respond to challenge. And I read it every morning. It doesn't have to be every morning, right? But I have a reference point. And my reflection when I write, my reflection is always about my alignment. I also write about many other things as well. But this is all basically, it's all about that alignment. How have I performed today in alignment with who I need to be? I've got some goals so big in my mind, guys, that I don't share them with any human being because I just know I would get negative feedback and I just can't be fucked. People just don't see the world the way I see the world. They don't have the belief that I have. So I just don't want to share it with them, right? But what I want requires a certain version of me that I have to be. And if I'm not in alignment, then I've got to understand that I'm slowing the process down or I'll just never get there. So I read that every day. I understand it in full depth. I carry that and I embody it through everything I do. This is the third time I've filmed this video because I've got halfway through and I've thought, do you know what? I'm not happy with my performance here. I'm not happy with my energy to these people that I'm trying to help. That's not in alignment with me having 100k subs on YouTube. That's how much clarity it gives you on the micro nuanced stuff. It's like, oh shit, actually, yeah, I need to sharpen up. And then you reflect at the end of the day, how have I performed today? Yeah, I was operating in alignment today. This has been a really good day. And this is what I did that I found a little bit easier than other days. Let me take that forward. Or maybe it's, you know what, I've been out of alignment. What am I going to do differently tomorrow? And then I'm back on track. And that is unequivocally, guys, unequivocally, try that again. That is the only way you can achieve the fastest possible results. I want to finish on this. Self-awareness. Self-awareness is so important. Most problems that you're facing in life right now, most things you're confused about, they can all be solved through self-awareness. The answers are always in your mind, and you may not have them in full yet, but you will have the seeds to plant, to grow and water and care for, to where a couple of days later, a week later, a month later, a year later, depending on what it is, you actually arrive at the answer and the conclusion yourself. The more you can get to know yourself, the better your life will be, because it's you who has to spend all your life in your own head. And I used to have a terrible, terrible relationship with myself. I used to really hate myself, everything about myself when I was at rock bottom. Just pure hatred, like no exaggeration, real fucking hatred for who I was. And that caused a lot of the kind of self-destructive behaviors. And I've fixed that over the years. I'm not perfect now, but I've got a much better relationship with myself now. But it's so important getting to know yourself and know where you're at and know where your mind's at, and to be able to separate you from your thoughts and your problems and just see things from a third person point of view, the observer. Most problems that you end up facing in life, not all but most, they could have been prevented. And if you're self-aware enough, you end up preventing a lot of problems. Prevention is always better than the cure. And the last point I'll make on this, just to highlight my point even more, I've had therapy quite a few years ago now, when I was going through a pretty fucking rocky time. And that process, it was very good. There's a lot of things I don't agree with therapy now. But that process, think about that. Everyone knows what therapy is. Going and speaking to someone who's a quote unquote professional. You tell them your problems, and then they ask you questions about your problems. Your answers answer your own questions. And that's what a therapist's job is. To get you to understand what's in your mind. So the answers are always within, guys. And, you know, I've showed this in videos before. I just like to show that I practice what I preach. All of these, plus that one that I just showed you then, all of them, journals. Super important, guys. So, self-improvement, 10 times faster. If you want the identity generation AI prompt, guys, shoot me that message via the WhatsApp link. If not, then I hope you've got enough value out of this video to move forward and just be a little bit more specific, right? Think about why you're actually doing this, why you're putting so much effort in, and then work backwards from that. Who do you need to be to get what you want? What do you need to change about your current process to get what you want? Nice one, boys. Appreciate you watching. See you in the next one.